Welcome back. Today we're talking about how anger is a shadow emotion. All right, and I'm going to explain to you why anger is a shadow emotion. All right, I'm Dr. Meta. I help spiritually awakening adults or awoken adults, especially those that suffer from symptoms or have been diagnosed with ADHD. I help you slow down, integrate your shadow, and stop repeating the same emotional patterns and cycles and roller coaster rides. This isn't about more information. It's about becoming whole and how we do that, especially with the way that our brains may be wired. So, today we're talking about anger. And listen, for years, anger consumed my life, right? Anger lived in my body. And I don't mean like the kind that you see coming because somebody did something and you just get angry. No, I'm talking about the quiet kind, the kind that sits under the surface and tightens your chest when you're just observing things. Like it lives in every aspect and every surface of your life. And I did everything I could to try to avoid it and act like it didn't really exist or it didn't have as much control over my life as it did. I spiritualized it, I intellectualized it, I told myself that I would outgrow it, but I never did. And all I did was take it and then bury it. And that becomes a problem. But listen, let's talk about it. So God gave us the emotion of anger, right? And it's also one of the most misunderstood emotions. We treat it like a problem to fix. But let's look at it from a different perspective of what anger really is. It exists in order to protect boundaries, to signal violation, and to mobilize energy. Like when someone is angry enough because their child is pinned under a car, and this woman gets the strength of 10 men to be able to pick up that car and get her baby free. That her is someone getting angry. It mobilized energy where she didn't think, normally she wouldn't have had the strength to pick up that car. But energy is a mobilizing, I mean, anger is a mobilizing energy force that can't be, you know, uh, nothing could be compared to it. Right. So, but when anger isn't allowed to be expressive, especially early in your life when you were younger, it never disappeared. It just went into a shadow and it developed into a shadow and it waited and it waited and it become that hairline trigger, it becomes that problem, it becomes that emotional problem that you have to solve later in life. I wasn't allowed when I was growing up, I wasn't allowed to be angry, so over time what happened was my system learned to adapt, right? I held things in. I stayed quiet. I learned how to survive by not rocking the boat. But survival has a cost because what you don't express doesn't leave. It actually stores itself in the body. It becomes dis-ease, and later in life, it shows up when you least expect it in a disease or in anger issues or relationship issues or communication issues. Right? And so here's what most people don't realize. Like suppressed anger doesn't make you calmer because you're suppressing it. It makes your nervous system super tense though, right? It creates hypervigilance and it also drains your energy. And when it finally leaks out, it feels explosive. For it, that's not you being broken. That's just the shadow speaking. We take it as, oh, there's something wrong with that person. They have mental issues. There's something going on. No, it's just your shadow speaking. The shift happens when you stop trying to get rid of the anger and you learn that you're supposed to listen to it. Anger is rarely the root emotion to begin with. There's something else going on underneath that, anger is the cover emotion. There's an underlining emotion that you need to deal with. That's the part of the shadow that you need to look at. That's the mirror that you need to examine. Right? It's usually guarding something a lot more vulnerable. When you meet it with awareness, though, it can no longer run the show. It can no longer control you. If any of this resonates with you, the deeper work that we do for this community is lives in the physical shadow integration letter that I send to your house each and every month. Go check the link in my bio, check it out, and if it's something that you're interested in, come join us on that side in that community where every month you get something to learn how to integrate your shadow and learn how to go on the spiritual awakening journey in a very detailed way for the way that your brain may operate. I know that it took me forever to learn that I was ADHD, but now that I know, I am grateful because I now can develop and use tools to help me, even in my spiritual journey, be a better version of myself without being my attention being directed to new shiny objects, and oh, I need to try this, or I need to try that, and just being all over the place, I can literally rest in knowing that I just need one path, right? I just need to slow things down and then find a route and a route for me to go and then follow that route. All right. That's what we do over here with the Metamorphosis Tribe. All right. So, anyway, if this resonates with you, go check the link in my bio. No pressure, just honesty. All right. And I will see you guys next week for the next video. Peace. Be still.